Hello, and welcome back to Level Up, the podcast where we explore practical steps to becoming the best version of yourself. I am your host, Hanifa Rashid. Today, we are diving into a topic that has been a game changer for me and many others. Visualizing your goals and how your mindset truly sets the tone for your actions. You're probably thinking, visualizing my goals isn't all of that imaginary stuff. But stick with me because there is real science and power behind visualizing your goals. It's all about tapping into the connection between what is happening in your mind and how that influences your day-to-day life. So here is how it works. Visualizing isn't about imagining the finish line. It's about seeing the whole race. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you vividly imagined. So when you picture yourself crushing a goal, your brain activates the same pathways it would if you were actually doing the thing. So here is a personal example. Before I started this podcast, before I started recording, I used to imagine myself recording, and then sometimes I would pretend to be recording and I would just be like, hey besties, welcome to another episode. It sounds funny, but I was doing this and then I was feeling the whole vibe and I was like, okay, I can actually do this. And then sometimes I would just take my phone and just record something, and then I'll listen to my voice, and then I'll just be like, oh, this sounds good. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I can actually do this. If you can imagine it, you can become it. And then when you're imagining something, it just gives you this whole vibe, this whole feeling. It's like you are there already, even though you're not there. So here is the thing about visualizing your goals. Athletes use this all the time. Tennis players visualize the perfect serve, like in their head. They're practicing serves. They're like, oh my god, if I hit the ball like this, that kind of vibe. Or for footballers, they just be like, okay, this is how I'm going to kick this ball. You know, if you play football for men, you're probably used to this, thinking in your head, planning in your head how you're going to kick the ball, how you're going to score that goal. And then if you can recall that feeling, it's as if you've scored the goal. It just gives you a confidence boost. You've not scored the goal and you know that you have not scored the goal, but then you're feeling pumped, you're feeling excited. You're just like, okay, so I can actually do this. I can score the perfect goal. I can hit the perfect serve. And why do people do this? Because it prepares the brain for victory. Because you can already imagine yourself scoring, winning. So it just gives you a boost. Let me put it that way. It gives you a boost and you're like, okay, I can do this. But the thing about visualizing your goals is that visualizing your goals alone won't get you very far. If you're not actually doing anything, if for example, your goal is to write a book, and then you are constantly visualizing yourself writing in your head, you're like, okay, I'm in front of a computer, or I'm with my book and my pen, and in your head you're just imagining yourself writing, you're imagining yourself publishing, you're imagining yourself making sales out of this book, but you're not writing. Come on. Don't build imaginary castles. Yes, visualize your goals, but then take action. And if I was just stuck visualizing my goals, making fake podcast episodes in my room, and not actually recording, not doing the necessary research, not taking a podcast course, because I took a podcast course. So if you're not taking steps towards actualizing your goals, then how are you going to get your goals to become real? It's just going to stay imaginary. So visualizing your goals is very important, but then the next step is also just as important. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Level Up, and see you next time.